So this is a very basic, very general introduction to my shop and some metalworking that happens in it. For more concise videos on knife making, sword making, axe making, hinges and hangers and everything in between, there's a lot of great content creators out there. I recommend you check them out. Rita.
Janice.
Welcome to the Forge.
Thank you, I'm happy to be here.
Outstanding. Here's our steel selection, all very simple, all very basic, everything from old mining spikes from a couple hundred years ago. Never know exactly what's going on in the crystal structure of the steel because they were retired for a reason, so you don't know what kind of fractures are there, and you generally find out when you're almost done, and then there went your piece that you put your time into.
Are you salvaging this stuff, or are you...
Yeah,
is it being gifted you, or...? Pretty
much. I mean, I find more and more everybody's like, here, do you want this thing that's been in my yard for the last 20 years? And I say, so picking a good high carbon steel is really important, and if you're using scrap metal, sometimes you aren't sure what it is. Now, in a low carbon steel, the sparks are going to be more kind of singular. We'll see little jets of stuff coming off. In a higher carbon steel, we're going to have multiple things coming from each spark. In other words, we're going to have lots of tails coming off. It's going to be a more fuzzy look altogether. This is the forge I got. It's a triple burner propane forge made by Majestic Forge, I think is what the company's called. They do good stuff. It's very simple, very straightforward. This is the farrier door, obviously so you can fit bigger pieces in there. As I'm doing swords, etc., I need to be able to get all the way through. Then you're, heating this up to 1500 or 2000 degrees, depending on the steel, somewhere in that. Rita, where the different jets, there's only 2 of them on now, are coming down, that's the hottest point, just below those.
Cool.
So safety gear, super awesome, super important, especially glasses. A lot of people really recommend gloves. I totally respect and understand it. For me, I can't feel the piece that I'm working on or the hammer. There's too much slipping around going on. Yeah, girl. So at first it's got that kind of squishy feeling, and then the more that color starts bleeding out, the heat starts going, the harder it becomes. Yeah. That interesting. Yeah. And the more you go into the cold, then the more chance that you're going to totally destroy all of the good things, because it's going to start fracturing stuff. Now it's time to profile your knife, or get the basic shape that you're looking for. But in order to save belts, a lot of times I'll just use a basic bench grinder.
Okay.
So obviously there's a huge leap in terms of what we've seen today between a scrap piece that we're working on to kind of familiarize ourselves with a tool and or a final product. But this is just kind of a look at the shop.
You come out of dance and you come out of theater and sword fighting and all of these other places. So what is it that draws you to blacksmithing here, and what are these connections to those larger pieces that makes you so happy in this shop that you've walked us through?
Because in a lot of ways they're very much the same. We take dance as kind of or martial arts as an obvious example, where it's learning to move your body in relationship with somebody else or someone's else or the environment that you're in. And it's very much the same thing with moving metal.
Do you have a favorite thing about blacksmithing that you've learned in this little adventure you've been on? One
of my favorites is the Celtic deity for blacksmithing is Gavnu. In addition to being the god of blacksmithing, he's the god of brewing.
So let's close the day with a beer.
Let's close the day with a beer.